Coming off the heels of a massive SummerSlam, we have an epic tag team main event, the return of the glorious one himself, Bobby Roode, and a couple of other surprises on this week's edition of the Smackdown Rebound. Hello everybody, my name is Connor, aka OKAYFABE, your official Smackdown video correspondent for One Wrestling and One Wrestling Video's YouTube channel. We thank you guys for another edition of the Smackdown Rebound, where of course we're going to cover everything from this week's Smackdown Live from August 29th, 2017. We thank you guys for coming back in here to the channel and subscribing to OneWrestling.com. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so you get all the amazing wrestling 24/7 news, Raw, Smackdown, NXT, Impact, or should I say Global Force Wrestling, and so much more. We have a lot of things to cover. Of course, guys, let us know your thoughts about this week's SmackDown down in the comment section. Of course, subscribe, as I mentioned before. Hit that thumbs up if you love the SmackDown Rebound. Of course, make sure you follow myself and the entire OneWrestling.com family. Of course, myself at OKAYFABE, at One Wrestling, and of course, the Big Slam Nation, Big Ray, and of course, the man himself, the legendary, the iconic, Mr. Bill Apter at Apter One Wrestling. All the links for all our social media are down in the description box below. Let's take a look here at this week's SmackDown, as of course we had a lot of fallout from SummerSlam still creeping its way through this week's SmackDown. We of course had the epic beginning with, of course, the modern day Maharaja Jinder Mahal kicking things off with the Singh brothers, talking about how he has not been quite the same since his battle with Shinsuke Nakamura last week, and that even though he still is the champion, he has been a little upset at the lack of respect and the disrespect he's been getting as champion. He said that he's been disrespected and been treated when he should be revered as the WWE Champion. We all point fingers and laugh ever since he was made a fool of by Shinsuke Nakamura, but he's the best of the best and our champion, and someone should pay the price. That's when, of course, one of the Singh brothers decides to step up and says that they failed him last week and want to publicly apologize to everyone, including him. They want to apologize to 1.3 billion people of India, their family in Punjab, and everybody, most importantly, of course, the WWE Champion, Jinder Mahal. Of course, they get very weepy during this entire segment. I mean, I would be too. It's the modern day Maharaja, people. The modern day Maharaja. Of course, they said the other one says that they embarrassed him last week is through their lack of skill. That Nakamura was even able to land a finger on him. Of course, they continue to weep and beg for forgiveness, even deciding that they want to publicly kiss the Maharaja's royal feet. As they bow down and are about to do just that, they are interrupted by Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura goes to confront Jinder Mahal, but the Singh brothers step right in front of Nakamura. Of course, Nakamura able to quickly depart the two of them and go right after Jinder Mahal with a forearm. Doesn't take long for the Singh brothers to hold down Nakamura's legs, allowing Jinder to come back in. Randy Orton trying to make the save, but Rusev Machka not too far behind, as he, of course, is also able to help out and lay out Randy Orton outside the ring, allowing for all three of them, I can't count, four, it's late night, just forgive me for the count, four of them to all gang up on Nakamura, specifically hitting the Kahas on Shinsuke Nakamura from Jinder Mahal, setting up the epic tag team matchup we got later on tonight in the main event, Jinder Mahal and Rusev against Nakamura and Randy Orton. But speaking of tag teams, we see the new debut, the re-debut, the undebut, the debut of Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin as a tag team against the Ascension. Obviously, when you see this tag team come up, you kind of course, notice that it's kind of maybe a swip swapping. I hope I said that right. Swip swapping of Shelton Benjamin for Jason Jordan. However, I do enjoy the tag team's work. Obviously, you kind of see them, recognize them as two single stars now that Chad Gable no longer has Jason Jordan with him. But I think this tag team could work very well. They were able to get the victory over the Ascension in somewhat of a quick fashion, and they are very similar in their styles, both athletic, both high school athletes, college athletes as well too. So I could definitely see the similarities there, and I think that it just needs a little bit more time to get them to where they're eventually going to be. I'm definitely looking forward to see what they kind of can pull out the stops. I just want to see them more in tag team action to eventually build them up to maybe even another shot at the SmackDown tag team titles. By the way, Shelton Benjamin, very happy to see him back in the ring, back on SmackDown Live. He looks in the best shape I've ever seen him, and I can't wait to see him kick ass and take more names over on the Boy Blue brand. Now, we do see a quick backstage interview with Baron Corbin, who was talking about how he squandered the Money in the Bank briefcase briefcase, and now, however, Cena took his briefcase and left, and basically left him and avoided him and went over to Monday Night Raw. However, AJ Styles says he's returning back with the U.S. Open Challenge. He said he's probably going to answer that, and that way he will become the new United States Champion. However, things didn't quite go the way Mr. Corbin was hoping for, no sirree, Bob. Instead, AJ Styles does issue the Open Challenge, but before Baron Corbin has the chance to get out there and answer it, it is instead answered by the Perfect 10, Tye Dillinger. As Tye basically has an argument with Baron Corbin at the entrance ramp area, Corbin shoves Tye Dillinger into the apron, and just as Corbin is about to take Tye Dillinger's spot, it is vastly taken away from Tye Dillinger as he is able to enter the ring and answer the bell count to officially have the match between AJ Styles for the U.S. Championship. So it's Tye Dillinger, AJ Styles for the U.S. title, and unfortunately, Tye Dillinger comes up short. Tye getting a little offense in, but unfortunately, it is not enough as AJ Styles able to counter the tiebreaker, hook the leg, and of course lock in the calf killer, allowing him, AJ Styles, to win and retain the U.S. Championship via submission. Right after the matchup, Corbin is on Dillinger, yanking him out of the ring and pulling him into the barricade. But Styles fends off him with a single forearm and knocks Baron Corbin out of the ring. Baron Corbin paces angrily, but nothing else really comes of it from there. We do see a singles matchup. It is the return of the Power of Love. Is it the greatest love on earth? It's the power of love. I believe in the power of love. But you know who doesn't believe in the power of love? Glorious. Bobby Roode makes his another ring presence known once again as he able to squander Mike Kanellis pretty quickly as he is able to have a little bit of back and forth with the Power of Love maniac himself, Mr. Mike Kanellis, but unfortunately lands a glorious DDT to allow the glorious one, Bobby Roode, to get the pinfall victory. Very interesting to see Bobby Roode on SmackDown. I'm very happy to see him, but that's not the real interesting point. The interesting point for me is seeing him as a babyface in this regards. Of course, we've seen him dominate NXT as the NXT champion as a heel for the most part, so it's going to be interesting to see how things play out with Bobby Roode. I thought Bobby Roode was going to answer the U.S. Open Challenge last week and possibly even this week, but I need to not get ahead of myself. Time will, of course, tell that little fun tale as well. Up next, Kevin Owens actually interrupts Aiden English as he's part of the Maestro of Mayhem. Kevin Owens interrupting him, basically reaffirming that no one in Arkansas tonight deserves to hear Aiden English's golden voice, but he needs to kind of get some things off his chest. He wants to remind everyone how it went down for Kevin Owens, asking what gives Shane McMahon, of course, the right to put on hands on Baron Corbin last week and make the 3 count like it was supposed to mean anything. He says, 1 year ago today, I was the Universal Champion, and now I stand here without my U.S. title because Shane McMahon screwed him out not once, but twice, talking how this would never have happened back on Raw with Stephanie McMahon, and of course calling him an egomaniac, to which Shane has to reply. He says he's not here to help Kevin Owens, but it seems like he needs an explanation. It was Owens that picked the referee, and he picked Baron Corbin. Corbin came out very biased towards Kevin Owens last week, of course, saying that he didn't want anything to do with AJ Styles and actually calling the match down the middle at all. So instead, when McMahon came out and left the match before he even freaking finished. So Corbin threw the referee shirt at Shane. Shane thought with a match of this magnitude it needed a referee. An impartial one came in and counted Kevin Owens' shoulder on the mat. 1, 2, 3. Of course, Kevin Owens doesn't want to hear this, and Shane says he doesn't care. It's over. The people hearing tire and complain. He says for Kevin Owens to leave and for Aiden English to get back in because he has a match with Sami Zayn. The match between Aiden English and Sami Zayn really doesn't happen that long, as of course Kevin Owens is on commentary and decides to take matters into his own hands. He's actually going into the ring, taking the referee's shirt off, and actually trying to officiate the match for about 2 seconds, hitting a pump-up powerbomb on Sami Zayn, allowing Aiden English to get the pinfall victory. Backstage, after the commercial break comes back, Shane McMahon says the match will be thrown out like it didn't happen, and he's going to address it just like he will, like he did earlier tonight. We do see a rather bizarre, interesting promo from Dolph Ziggler, interview I should say, from Dolph Ziggler, who basically says how he wants to make a change. He's going to make a new Dolph Ziggler next week. And he's asked why he's making the change. He says because he's worked and worked, but he's taken for granted and an afterthought. But he's a star, and everyone gets distracted by fancy jackets and hand gestures, and they don't even get him started on Monday Night Raw. He goes, do you want him to ride to a motorcycle to the ring, play a double neck guitar, or could he jump like a four-wheeler like Stone Cold, or douse paint on his face like Finn Balor, or maybe let a beautiful lady escort him to the ring? He goes, you want Flash and no substance. That's exactly what you're going to get next week from Dolph Ziggler. But you know who is full of flash? Of course, the New Day, who had a tag team match against the Usos. The winning team picked the stipulation for their tag team title rematch in the future. Of course, Xavier Woods at ringside with a injury. Hope you get well, Mr. Woods. As Big E and Kofi Kingston took to the ring. It wasn't their best in-ring matchup, but I always enjoy seeing New Days and Usos lock up over and over again. They do some fantastic work. But I did enjoy this matchup. Again, not their greatest stuff, but Usos getting a surprise victory with, of course, a schoolboy pin and a handful of tights from Jimmy Uso and a Kofi Kingston. So that means the Usos have the power in their court. Curious to see exactly how that's going to go down in their future rematch for the tag team titles. See a fun backstage segment with James Ellsworth as he waves off an interviewer and introduces Carmella. Carmella a little upset with James because he revealed, of course, how Carmella's plan last week was going to be how she would cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase. Of course, this brings Natalya to roll up before he can answer any further and says she should be grateful James stood her off, and if she crosses Natalya again, she'll make her into the Baron Corbin of the women's division. Oof. The spicy Natalya, spicy. Natty says she'll punish her further in the match next week, and Carmella tells her to keep the title shiny before walking away. Naomi also comes into the picture, snickering not too far behind, as she mentions that not only will she take on Carmella next week, but in 2 weeks' time, Natalya must defend the SmackDown Women's Championship in a rematch against Naomi. We see Tamina in a squash match against local wrestler Tina Stock. So, of course, it is a quick squash matchup with Lana now being the manager of Tamina. Very Rusev-esque, asking her to crush her. Very similar dynamic with Lana and Tamina that we saw with Lana and Rusev before. Again, Tamina getting the quick pinfall via a super kick and then throws the woman out of the ring, raising her hands, and then photographers in the ring for some reason. Okay, I'll take that. We see Season 2 of the Fashion Files kick off this week. Of course, no Chuck Norris. Darn it all. A lot of fun jokes, a lot of fun moments. I love seeing these guys always on camera. My two favorite parts, of course, were the middle and, of course, towards the end. The middle where they were laying out all these new items, and they were pointing at like, oh, it's a title. No, that's just a belt. That's an inside joke for hopefully a lot of you guys get as well, too. And also, they noted that their next big clue comes from a sign that said to be or not to be, possibly leading to Aiden English. I won't spoil the whole thing. Go check it out for yourself. Main event time was Jinder Mahal and Rusev against Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura. Very standard tag team matchup. Not anything really to go wowing over, but still some exciting action from all four men. A pinfall victory by Shinsuke Nakamura over Rusev. Babyface able to do so over after a Kinshasa to Rusev. But of course, the big picture, as you guys saw from the thumbnail in this video that everyone was talking about, Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura once again having a matchup next week, where the winner gets a WWE Championship shot in the future. I shouldn't say once again because this is the first time ever as far as I know. But more interestingly enough, RKO to Shinsuke Nakamura after the matchup as Orton the Viper strikes once again. SmackDown definitely delivered once again, as they always do. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out. Obviously, we're in a slow build to Hell in a Cell, which I believe is the next pay-per-view in October. So a lot of things are still in their infancy stages. Bobby Roode, the new tag team, Tamina getting a push. So things are still kind of sifting out and kind of shimmering off from SummerSlam. So while there wasn't maybe a whole lot of craziness or a lot of epic encounters of that nature, I think they're going to be doing a slower build heading into the next major pay-per-view. Again, Hell in a Cell in October. Of course, guys, these are just my opinions. Love to hear what you guys have to say this week's SmackDown. Again, let us know down in the comment section. Please leave it clean. And, of course, subscribe for more awesome content from all of us right here at One Wrestling. Make sure you follow myself on Twitter at OKAYFABE and the entire OneWrestling.com family on all the various social media. Myself, Big Ray Show, the Big Slam Nation, of course, the legendary, the iconic Mr. Bill Apter at After One Wrestling. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, as we are so close to those 20,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for tuning in another edition of the Smackdown Rebound. And again, to quote the legendary, the iconic Mr. Bill Apter, we will see you at the matches.